Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to another exciting episode of the Outhouse. I'm one of your hosts, Avery Fair, joined by Teddy Kosick. Ted, how you feeling after this weekend, buddy?
Good, man. I'm tired, dude, but it's good, Had to go to work today. That was a struggle. I watched 2 or 3 people get things spoiled to them before lunchtime, so I'm glad I got through everything this weekend that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm a bit emotionally, mentally, and physically drained, but we must go on. So, obviously, if you're watching the show, then you must be fans of Marvel, the MCU, and know that Avengers Endgame came out last Thursday. And I'm just going to give you a 3-second pause here just to leave. All right, so there's a lot to unfold here. This is, the end of the road for some heroes. This is essentially the end of the MCU as we know it. As you recall from last year's Infinity War, Thanos was on his quest to collect all the Infinity Stones, and in doing so would snap half the universe out of existence. So the movie ended up with Thanos getting those, snapping half the heroes away, and Endgame kind of picks up right where it left off. And
feels so good, Mr. Parker. Best scene from the whole movie.
And actually, it's Mr. Stark. So look at
is it
this
You're
guy,
right. Mr. Parker is fucking Spider-Man. Jeez.
Anyway, so Endgame, there's a lot to unfold here. Teddy, what are your thoughts about the movie and how everything wrapped up in the end?
I think when I texted you afterwards, I rated it a 9.5 at first, just because it has to be absolutely perfect for me to give it a 10. I've since upped my ranking to a 9.75.
Okay.
Just because I felt like 9.5 bucketed it with a lot of other things that I call 9.5s, but it was better than that,
Right.
I mean, to be honest, like thinking back, I'm nowhere near as big of a Marvel fan as you, and we'll get into that for sure. But I don't know, like as a pretty casual MCU fan, how else I would have wanted it to end, I guess. Like they kind of did everything I would have wanted them to do. That being said, there were definitely things that I could see coming. Like I don't think it was anything totally mind-blowing the way that they wrapped everything up, but like overall, I mean, I texted you got to cry a couple times during the movie. They really get you at a couple points. And for somebody like me that doesn't like, I didn't rewatch anything before going into it, although I probably should have, clearly. And a lot of them I've only seen once. For something to be able to kind of move me like that, I guess, was clearly something that was powerful. So, I mean, I have no major complaints with the movie overall, to be totally honest. Like, there's just nothing.
Yeah, I hear ya. It's hard enough to end just anything, just to find how to end something, and how daunting of a task it must have been for Marvel, Disney, the Russo brothers to end this 10-year, 20-plus film journey in a way that didn't leave myself, you, a lot of people disappointed is something, at least to be happy about. And I'm with you on that. Actually going into it, Blanc and I would, try and guess a lot of theories, what we think was going to happen. And I don't know if it kind of softened the blow a little bit, but we guessed roughly 80-90% of the movie.
Yeah.
And so, for example, time travel.
Yeah.
We had said that, the quantum realm was going to be used in some capacity, some form, whether it's, to trap Thanos in there or whether to go back in the past, and that's what they did. When it comes to time travel, though, it's a very sticky situation to be in because there's a lot of repercussions that could happen, which occurred. For example, when they went back in 2012 to the first event. So let me just break that real quick. So the Avengers, they go back in time. They need to pick the Infinity Stones out from certain moments so that they can bring it back to the present and undo the snap. So they go back to 2012 when the Battle of New York was happening to try and get the Space Stone. And in this, chaotic scene, Loki, unlike Avengers 1, where he was, taken prisoner, he gets the Tesseract and escapes. That doesn't happen. And so at the time, Cap, Tony, and Ant-Man, they don't even really acknowledge that part of it. They just go back again to a later, date to get the cube. But this created, a separate timeline where Loki's now running around with the Tesseract when he's supposed to be on Asgard. So it's things like that where I wonder if Marvel's going to simply sweep those under the rug for the next phase, or if that's going to be addressed, for example, in the Loki TV show. Is it going to be this 2012 alternate Loki having these adventures where, because now with the MCU, the Russo brothers mentioned this, like the timeline is no longer linear. People can now do things, going in any which way, but they don't have to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
So that's going to be an interesting thing to now analyze moving forward.
Yeah, I was even thinking about that. I was going to bring up that one particular scene that you just talked about anyways, because I'm pretty sure they'll use that to tie into the TV show. At least I would if I was them. But as a more casual person or someone like my girlfriend who doesn't watch all the movies, only the ones I take her to, really, the MCU is infinitely complicated to follow what's happening because of all these time swaps and where are you, which timeline are you in, what's going on. And like even during the movie, I just assumed that them going back again before that would like wipe out what happened, but I don't know if that's true.
Right.
Like, does Loki still escape, or do they rewrite that by going back further? Like, it's just a lot of potential confusion, but I think it opens them up to basically do whatever they want. Like, they can have whatever character be in whatever year, so like creatively it gives them a lot of options.
Right. So I mean, with that, we can now we can grieve and mourn for the heroes we lost. Black Widow, it's nice knowing you.
Jon Snow,
he's worthless. We'll get to that later, but Black Widow, she seemed as though she was the one who got hit the hardest, with the Avengers, with all the heroes disappearing and just them losing and the universe, suffering that fate. She was broken, and she, was the one who was very eager to try and get anything to try and reverse this. And she had to sacrifice herself to get the Soul Stone again.
Yeah.
We knew that one of the big two, if not one, if not both, were going to get dusted in the end, and it was Iron Man. And he, I think it was really, really fitting for him because it's all started with Iron Man, back in 2008. And he's been the one character that's had this weird sort of connection with Thanos throughout this entire movie run. And so it was only fitting that he was the one that dusted Thanos away for good.
Yeah.
Other big moments, Cap finally wielding Mjolnir.
Yep, that was baller.
That was, we've been waiting that since Age of Ultron when he kind of nudged it a little bit, and he was finally able to wield it, and it was just badass.
Yeah.
A couple other scenes that kind of just threw shout outs or highlights towards either the comics. Cap saying Hail Hydra. I thought that was, everyone was expecting another elevator scene where he just beats the shit out of everybody, but that was a nice little wrinkle change there. Cap finally yelling Avengers Assemble, with all of them lined up. I mean, that just the visual there, first seeing Cap all by himself and all of Thanos and his army, right there.
I was trying to see through my tears at that point, so yeah.
Right.
A little blurry, but yeah.
That was around the time where things started
I started losing it, but yeah.
The scene where it showed all the female Avengers, rallying to make sure Peter Parker got across the battlefield. These were it was just visually stunning, and it was overwhelmed with emotion to finally see just everybody on screen together and finally defeat this evil that's plagued them all this time.
Yeah, I think the last I don't know, from when does that start? Like last 45 minutes, hour maybe.
Yeah,
is probably my favorite singular continuous scene in any of the entire MCU. I mean, there's others that I like a lot, but that one probably will stay with me for the longest, I would like to think.
And I mean, just going back to those female Avengers, I mean, it kind of sucks that Black Widow wasn't there.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she was cheering them on.
Yeah, she got dusted.
But now, like I said before, to what might be coming up next for the MCU, they have the whole time travel thing, to possibly deal with. I kind of think that they're gonna mainly just kind of not really worry about it.
Just move away from it.
Yeah, unless there is one very big villain that people have been mentioning as a possible, the next Thanos. It is, I believe his name is Kang the Conqueror, and I'm not very familiar with Kang the Conqueror, but I do believe that he deals with time traveling. So I don't know if, maybe the fact that they fucked up all these timelines, he's gonna come out of nowhere like some sort of god, and punish everyone. I don't know.
Got it.
But we do know that they're going to make a Guardians 3. Yep. Thor joined the Guardians at the end. He had a little quip there that said the Asgardians of the galaxy. And fun fact, I did some reading, and that's actually a comic line. So I
saw that on the internet.
Yeah, see? Internet, for the win.
So, I mean, you'd like to assume that Thor's locked in for Guardians 3, right?
Right. And I believe I told you before also that I saw that Tessa Thompson had said, the actress that plays Valkyrie, she had said that she was in talks about a Thor 4, I believe, and they're doing a script, so hopefully that means that Thor's kind of here to stay. I think, with Chris Hemsworth, I mean, he's even said that Ragnarok really rejuvenated the character for him, and I mean, we saw how much fun he was in Endgame, looking like the Big Lebowski, like Tony said.
I'm headed that way.
Right? Oh, okay. I don't know if you can get the beard part though.
No, you're right. I can't. I'll buy a fake one.
Even though Black Widow is no longer with us, she is on track to get a solo film. It is going to be reported to be a prequel, slated roughly before Avengers 1. So we'll kind of get a taste of what she was before she joined up with S.H.I.E.L.D. Black Widow is not a friendly character, so she may be a bit more ruthless than what we expect if that movie comes to fruition. We're getting Spider-Man Far From Home in a few months. That will officially end Phase 3, and I guess kind of jumpstart us to whatever's coming up next. And then, of course, there's the whole Fox deal. What's going to happen with X-Men and Fantastic Four. Obviously, you've said before that there are reports that we may be a ways away from seeing them get incorporated into the MCU, and so it will again be interesting to see how they incorporate all those new characters into it.
Yeah, I mean, I anticipate them taking their time to make sure they don't blow it. I mean, they've got enough characters out there to play with already, and I think isn't Disney announcing soon enough in a month or two what's on slate next, like movie wise? I was reading some article.
They had said they wanted to wait until after Far From Home.
Okay, so a couple
releases, but I just don't know how long after Far From Home.
So I mean, when they announce those, I wouldn't expect them to say X-Men in 2021 or something like that. But it'll be interesting to see. I mean, I didn't realize they were going to make another Thor, like you had mentioned. Does the Black Widow movie then count as part of Phase 3, or is that part of Phase 4? Since it's back in time, but
I'm not sure.
See, it starts to get a little messy, but I think they've got plenty of properties to work with. I'm not worried about the shortage of movies. They'll keep churning them out.
I'm sure it'll probably just count as a feature film, but it's just set in a different time period.
Yeah, you're probably right.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Exciting to see.
So then, just because I'm uneducated, what happens and do the Avengers come back ever, or are the Avengers gone? Will there be an Avengers?
So there's Iron Man and Cap. Cap goes back and retires. And so he passes the torch, or he passes his shield onto Sam Fisher.
Yep.
Right? No, wait, is that his name? Or that's the Splinter Cell guy, isn't it?
Sam Fisher is a Splinter Cell guy. I know who you're talking about. What is it, Falcon?
Falcon. Wilson. Wait. I don't know. I have a brain fart right now. But yeah, Falcon.
I have no idea.
Anthony Mackie. All right. So he's Captain now. And that's another president in the comics. And he's also going to have his TV show with Winter Soldier. But yeah, the Avengers, they'll keep swapping out, characters and things like that. I don't know if you had read, there was this one article that said how, back in the day in 2008, when they first were going to start the whole MCU, there was a lot of pressure on Iron Man 1. And the director, Jon Favreau, at the time said that basically if it flopped, they were just done. They were dead in the water. In the loan they got to kind of finance the movie, they essentially put the rights of Black Panther and Doctor Strange on collateral. And so what they already had, Spider-Man was gone at that point, and they didn't have, X-Men, Fantastic Four, so they had to build the MCU off of B-tier heroes in terms of Iron Man and Captain America, as opposed to their A-listers of Fantastic Four, X-Men, and Spider-Man. And so, I mean, if they're able to kind of build off of characters that not a lot of people are that familiar with, I wouldn't be surprised of what they can do moving forward.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it.
Now,
Interesting.
Very.
One other plot hole I want to bring up, which I don't know if it'll get resolved, and I think I already mentioned this to you, is how do you return the Soul Stone when it's a binding contract to take it out in the first place?
Don't worry about it.
Cap just shows up and is like, take this shit back, buddy. Like, I don't understand.
I know.
Because what if he doesn't put the Soul Stone back? Then that might not even be the real reality, right?
And he's supposed to hit. Oh my God, the computer went dark again.
You're back. Hello.
It's just gonna be a recurring thing. And he's supposed to give it to Red Skull. Red Skull's just hanging out over there. So I don't know. They that's what I think. I think it was more about them saying, "All right, guys, we're just throwing everything in here. We're gonna we're gonna go down memory lane, revisit all this." It was fanfare.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
I mean, they just didn't really care about the logistics. I mean, Professor Hulk, which was really cool, seeing Bruce Banner like that, did his weird explanation about time travel, and it's time travel. You either accept it or you just go crazy thinking about it.
Yeah, I think the Russo brothers in some interview I watched on YouTube yesterday or 2 days ago said that basically they gave, I mean paraphrasing, but basically gave zero fucks about what happens after this because their only job was to finish this movie. Yeah. So like if there's untied, like it doesn't make sense, they don't care. They're out. They're done. I
mean with that thought process, I would just do this movie 100%. I agree. Make everyone happy.
So it's interesting. Next Avengers movie, everybody's back and you're back in 2012 or whatever. Shit never happened.
You know what's going to be the next Avengers is going to be just a squad of Fortnite characters.
Probably. That was kind of cool, seeing Fortnite in the movie, by the way.
Yeah, new master, huh?
I was kind of surprised. Where were they at? They were at, it looked
they were in Salty.
Not retail. They were at Salty. You're right, they were at Salty.
They were at Salty Springs, and new master was, just outplaying them.
Yeah, it was kind of funny.
But all right, moving forward. Now, what is not funny for a lot of people was, what is today, Monday? Last night, Sunday nights, Game of Thrones, episode 3.
Season 8, episode 3. Which is not called The Battle for Winterfell. It's called The
Long Night, right?
Long Night. Yeah, Long Night.
I have a lot of things I would like to bring up about this, but what would you think? I'm going to shift over to you. You're the bigger Game of Thrones fan over here.
So I take a contrary view to a lot of people on Twitter who say they don't like it, but then you look at polls like Alana's where overwhelmingly people say they do like it, so I don't know what to believe. I think there's always a vocal majority of people that don't like things that post, so I don't know. I would like to think it's probably split 50-50 of people that liked it and didn't like it. I thought the episode was good. I would not say the episode was great, or I would not say the episode was the best episode in the series. Not even close.
Triggered.
Not even close. But I still, at the end of the day, think it was a good episode. Maybe because my expectations were tampered to this not being the end. Like, the entire show, I get it. The White Walkers are a big piece of the storyline, character development, and they're in the first episode and blah, blah, blah. But if you're telling me you cared more about that storyline than Cersei and everything else going on, then we were watching very different shows. So, I don't know. Like, at the end of the day, I thought the fight, the battle was really cool. Like, just straight, raw cinematography-wise, I think it was more impressive than big battles like Helm's Deep, for example. If you ignore story and just straight cinematography, like you have dragons flying, fireballs in the air. Helm's Deep, you're throwing Gimli over a wall. So,
just stop,
I mean, okay? I think it's hard to argue, not even close. Technology has evolved very much in fucking 20 years since that movie came out. Not even close.
You didn't like them yelling out numbers, racking up their kill count.
I mean, a fucking orc within 2 minutes blows a hole through the wall. I do love that scene. It's a very good scene. But an orc blows a hole through that wall, and they have equally as many orc as there are undead in this episode, and yet everybody's fine. It's chill. Don't worry about it. So like
No,
it's the same
yeah.
issue with like big battles in any fantasy thing. There's always so many baddies, and at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, I would agree with you about the cinematography part of it. I thought, yeah, there was the whole thing about the lighting. I get it, you know.
That was annoying too a little bit, but yeah.
I was annoyed. I could hardly see shit. But when people do tell me, like when I do see people saying, "Okay, guys, they're fighting at night. It's in the middle of a blizzard,
Yeah.
and like." You have to make a decision, you know, do you want realism or do you want, you know, them having, you know,
better-
big ass light bulbs everywhere?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I get
They
it.
made that choice, so yeah.
To me, the whole lighting thing was a back burner because I thought the episode was average
Yeah.
at best. Unlike you know, where you, I mean, I understand like you, where Cersei in the Iron Throne is the main plot, right?
For sure.
But since episode 1, the show started. The show started with a guy getting messed up by a White Walker, and what was the third line or whatever was the winter is coming or whatever, right? And for 8 seasons, we've been building up this impending doom, you know, from the north. Jon Snow's entire character development has been surrounded by the fact that he needs to somehow find a way to defeat this enemy. And I get that there's the final season that you start wrapping things up, but it just seems like a giant waste of time. I expected the Night King to die. I expected him to lose at the end of the episode.
For sure.
I did not think they would, you know, drag it out to the next episode. But for 8 seasons, we've been shrouded in mystery by this person, and it just feels as though we were just played.
I mean, I do feel as though they missed big opportunity for a lot of good story with the Night King. Like, I still don't really understand what's going on with him and Bran, to be honest.
Who is he?
At this point, I very much so think it'll resurface in the next few episodes, and we will find a lot of that out.
I hope.
I'm sure we will, but it does, like, to a lot of your points, like it all building up to this one. And granted, obviously the Night King was going to die this episode too. Like, I had the same feeling going into it, but you definitely start to feel the I don't know the right way to phrase it, like the compression of the show, because they stated this is the last season, and they're not doing like this very probably well should have been 2 more seasons instead of 1 more season. It doesn't matter if you're doing hour and a half episodes. You need the extra 6 to 8 hours of screen time to work through all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you're definitely feeling at this point, it's like everything accumulates, and just because they've stated they're not doing any more for whatever reason, I don't know why they decided this was the end. But it's definitely to the point where, like, they have to get it done because it's been building up for so long, and you just, I guess, whatever they're going to tell in the next 3 episodes, they valued more screen time for that than they did for the White Walkers. But it is a bit of a bummer that it built up so much to, 80 minutes of TV?
Right.
Like, if they had another season, it probably spans 2 to 3 episodes, right?
You would like to think with more background story.
Yeah, for sure.
You know,
and I think now they're just going to try to weave that background into the next couple episodes somehow. But
we'll
that's
see.
That's a bit disappointing. But like overall, I still don't think the episode was bad. I feel it was rushed, but I don't think it was bad. I guess is my opinion.
Let's move forward. There's a couple scenes where I understand Jon Snow and Daenerys have those dragons, and I mean I mentioned you this before, and there's a tweet that kind of reinforces it of someone saying that might be the worst use of dragons in the history of warfare.
I don't know what the fuck they're doing.
I mean, I understand that, you know, the full use of the dragons would have cut the episode down 50% at least. I mean, tell me why they rushed those 10,000 Dothraki in right away when they could have just blasted everyone with dragons. It's just these. I get where we're supposed to accept certain things, just like how, I mean, it's hard to compare things to like movies and things like I said before, we accepted like the time travel with Endgame, right? Yeah. And I think when it comes to Game of Thrones, obviously with a fantasy show, you accept just a lot of things being under the fantasy, genre, but it's some just boneheaded strategical plays that make you have to question what they're thinking.
I feel like that plagues every big, like,
a lot of big shows.
Like, to be honest, you think back to Avengers. Why didn't Thanos just snap away all the Avengers?
Right. I mean, there's a lot of things that you're right that you can
And
go back.
I think that's just a problem of every big franchise or big there's like always those things that if you really want to get into it, like this one, I will agree, they're a little more boneheaded than normal. But like in everything in Star Wars and whatever, like all my favorite things, I can pick out times where it's like, what the like this shit could be over right now, but that doesn't make for good TV or movies.
I mean, remember Star Wars? I remember the one I always think about. When Mace Windu has Palpatine in episode 3, and he just go like this. Just go, boop. He has to go like this.
Yeah. I know.
Power up.
It's all over the place.
But speaking of those Dothraki, another thing that, again, I would just file it under the short-sightedness or the feeling of being rushed is that, the 90% of them died within, 15 seconds?
Yeah.
And then there was really no one of significance to die the entire battle. Jorah Mormont, Lyanna Mormont.
I would argue a couple of these are significant, but I know you don't feel that way, so that's fine. Like I would argue Theon and Jorah are 100% A-list characters.
I think Theon, based on after you told me you were refreshed that he, was the reason why Bran, got fucked up down the road, and with Jorah, he's been there from the beginning, and Khaleesi's right hand guy.
Yeah,
but
the others don't really matter, to be honest.
Yeah, and I was kind of hoping for again a Brienne, a Jaime, a Sansa.
Like Grey Worm should have been dead at least.
Grey Worm, Jesus,
he
that was
absolutely
the one
should have been
guy.
Dead. He fucked me in my bracket. I called him to be dead and risen, and it didn't happen. He 100% should be dead.
That was another thing. I thought we were gonna see old characters or guys who were deaded just come right back up, like Jaime having to fight zombie Brienne or something.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I just felt as though there were a lot of missed opportunities in what is the longest episode of the show.
Yeah, and I think that's just another byproduct of them rushing through that shit, to be honest.
And, going on, Bran is a worthless pile of shit. Like,
I still don't really understand his story at all, to be honest.
I'm hoping that he comes up big in these last 3 episodes.
He's gotta. He gave Arya the blade that killed the Night King, and like there's just too many things that he's centered around for him not to be that important, right? Like he has to be.
He went Raven form to do what? Get a better view of people dying?
Yeah, I don't know.
And he just was Theon, hey, you're a good man. Now, can you go get stabbed for me real quick? I don't know. And that was another thing. I still
like the theory that he's the Night King somehow, even though the Night King's technically dead. I don't know if I'm convinced all the White Walkers are dead, to be honest.
What if the Night King, the reason why he's trying to kill Bran is for him to not become the Night King?
Ooh, that's meta. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. All right, I'll put it this way. If there's nothing going on with Bran the next few episodes, then I just don't understand. Then
it's a waste.
Yeah.
And then finally, before I jump into this, another couple of things real quick was, tell me why none of the generals of the White Walkers ever did anything. They were chilling with these horses. Guys? Yeah.
Yeah. Do they ever do anything? They're just kind of like there always.
Well, they fought in last season when he got the dragon. They fought there, I think, because I think Jon Snow fought him. Speaking of which, what the fuck is Jon Snow doing? It doesn't fight him once. And then where are those wolves at? Where's isn't Ghost a dude?
Ghost stormed in there with at the beginning with all the horses.
Well, so what is he deaded?
I don't know. Probably.
Well, and then one final thing is, so we brought this up, or you actually mentioned it, was the fact that why everyone was so up in arms about don't spoiling Endgame when immediately Game of Thrones, boom, Twitter again?
Yep, you're good. You're back. Hello. We're live.
Oh my God.
But yeah, why is it okay to spoil Game of Thrones immediately and not okay to say anything about Endgame?
I don't know. I mean, there's
no good reason.
So with Endgame, it was about 95% of people not spoiling it, right?
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, I would say there was 85% of people people spoiling it, and then there was the other 10-15% or whatever left that are still not saying anything.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether or not it's because a TV show, you can watch it in your house, and so you have it's more accessible that way.
Yeah.
But that's a giant double standard.
I mean, it is definitely more. That tweet I can't remember, whoever you sent me earlier, that was basically his point, was you're at home, you can watch it whenever it comes out at a certain time, you know about it. Whereas Avengers, if you don't get tickets, like there's nothing you have to center your day around it.
Yeah.
So I mean, I get that, but like, I don't know. At the end of the day, and in my personal opinion, is it feels like everybody doesn't feel bad spoiling Game of Thrones because they didn't like it. Whereas if they didn't like Avengers, do you think people would be posting about how shitty Avengers was because XYZ? You don't think anybody would say anything? See, I think if Avengers was bad, you would see the same shitstorm on Reddit of people complaining with specific spoilers. And that's the big difference to me.
I would agree. I would say that,
but I don't think that's okay. That's the issue.
But
like, if it's good or bad, it's still this. Like, what does it matter? You're still spoiling it.
Right. I think you need to. I mean, you and I took great lengths to not get spoiled for Endgame.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. You and I made sure not to go on Twitter, not to go on, anything really. Before I saw it, you only sent me things that were unrelated to, Avengers, and I did the same for you. Yeah. It's possible to not get spoiled. I mean, obviously, you said before at the start of the episode where people got spoiled at work, right? So there's a way to avoid the spoilers. So you have to decide whether or not, if I'm going to willingly go on a site where I know people talk about a shitload of things like the water cooler at work, I should know going in that there's a very good chance I'm going to get spoiled. Yep. Okay, I'm making that conscious decision to go into a minefield. Yep. Okay, and so I people that want to block or mute guys that are talking about the movie, that's your own prerogative. But I believe if I see something, what is the general time frame? Is there a universal rule that you have to wait a week before discussing something?
No.
I mean, is that the same for, what if it's a game 7 of a sporting event of the World Series and you don't watch it, but you recorded it? Yeah. Are people not allowed to talk about that? I don't know when it starts and when it ends.
Personally, I think people should be able to tweet whatever they want. This is specific for social media, not for like in the office and stuff, but specifically for social media, I think it's not the way it is right now, but I think you should be able to tweet whatever you want whenever you want. And if you don't want to be spoiled by something like we did, just don't open that social media.
Exactly.
Like,
just don't do it.
It's not that hard. Take it into your own hands. You don't need to. You're basically holding. It's kind of a weird way of looking at it, but you're basically changing the lives of other people to not let them do something they want to do because you're too lazy to not look at something, or you can't go 2 days without looking at Twitter for whatever reason.
Right. Exactly. And so that's.
I mean, so I don't know. I think you just fucking tweet what you want, but the way it is right now is people are going to use Twitter and stuff anyways, and they don't have that mindset like we do to turn it off. So everybody's got to like, can you tweet about it? Can you not? And it's just confusing. So,
I mean, I don't know how long people are supposed to wait, but
I don't either. They're like, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to continue to not use Twitter before things I want to watch. Like, that's it. It's not that hard.
Well, buddy, hopefully Game of Thrones wraps up in a pretty good way. Because,
so I'm in deep shit in my pool at work. I think I was picked the second most deaths, and there was fucking 5 people that died. So I need them to really turn the heat on. You feel me?
I hear you. What do you think's gonna? You have an idea of what might happen the rest of the way?
Not in particular. I am not specific story plot wise, but I am a bit nervous now that they're going to be light-handed with the deaths, which kind of annoys me, considering how the rest of the show was, and they were never afraid before when George R. R. Martin was writing them. I feel like I get not wanting to kill a lot of people in this one to keep the main characters there through the end of the show and have them there and people interested, but I don't know. I'm a little nervous that they're gonna not kill as many people as they should, given the show.
Yeah, I would agree. I think there's a very distinct difference in the tone of the show.
For sure.
In when did the book stop? Was it last season? Was season 7 part of the books or no?
I think it was 2 seasons ago.
Oh wow,
it's been multiple seasons.
Okay. And I mean, I just know from other people's opinions that they've said the show's kind of like taken a clear turn a few seasons ago, so that's probably a big reason why. I personally just think, there was one scene that caught my eye when Sansa and Tyrion were talking about they were good married and things like that, and how it's gonna be hard because of the Dragon Queen and what's her name? Grey Worm's girlfriend.
Oh God.
She
Afro lady.
Yeah, so she saw them talking, and she made a snarky comment saying, if the Dragon Queen wasn't here, we'd all be dead. Mm-hmm. And I just feel as though she's going to go tell Khaleesi about it, and she's going to think that Tyrion and Sansa were plotting against her, and that's going to start causing the rift amongst, the Starks more. That's going to make Jon decide whether he needs to go to Khaleesi or Sansa, and Tyrion, and that's going to make Tyrion decide, because I think Khaleesi is going to start becoming a little crazy then.
Yeah. We'll see. The Arya Stark killing Cersei theory is interesting too, although I think at this point that's too straightforward. Where she's killed, what's her name, Melisandre, the fire lady, told her that she would kill someone with brown eyes, blue eyes, green eyes, and she killed that guy in his Great Hall with brown eyes and the Night King, and then Cersei's got green eyes. I feel like that's too easy though. So
is there another? What does Khaleesi have?
What does she have? She has one dragon left.
No, I mean her eye color.
What color eyes? I have no idea. Aren't they blue?
I don't know, because I have a feeling like I would really like to have Sansa kill Cersei just to get like
I want Jaime to kill her.
Revenge. I don't know if Jaime has it in him. I don't think. I don't think him or Tyrion has it in him.
Khaleesi's got blue eyes. By the way, yeah.
Oh well, it'll be interesting.
We'll see.
But all right. Before we wrap up here, there was one more thing we forgot to do in the previous segment. We had listed our top 5 Marvel movies.
Oh, yeah. Lay it on me. Let's just go one by one, or start at number 5.
Start at number 5. Start at number 5. All right. I have Thor Ragnarok sliding in there.
I have a cop-out answer because I can't pick between two. I have Civil War / Black Panther.
Black Panther?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, that's respectable. Didn't you say that was the best Rotten Tomatoes score?
Yeah, it was.
So I mean,
Civil War /
it has precedent.
It does. It is. Maybe because it's more recent too. It's fresh in my mind. I don't know.
That's true. Number 4, Avengers 1.
Same.
Great.
Good talk. All right.
Yeah, I mean, no, Avengers 1, it still has one of the best scenes, I think, when the camera pans down to show all the Avengers, actually in that circle together for the first time. Yeah. And that just kind of jump started the whole frenzy.
I mean, that was the first time I've ever seen like multiple superheroes in one movie together. So,
that was the game changer, right?
That
there.
Alone, it really is. It really is.
Number 3, I have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1.
I have Thor Ragnarok.
Okay. I just saw Guardians. The soundtrack. I still have not seen a movie that beats that soundtrack.
Yep.
The whole game. It was hilarious, and just the whole cast they're great.
Yeah, it's kind of similar reasons why like Ragnarok's just so funny and lighthearted compared to the other Thor movies and a lot of the other MCU movies in general. It's just like I wouldn't say it's the like most detailed plot wise or anything, but it's got action, it's funny, it's good enough.
And I think just for those reasons that you just said for Ragnarok and compared to Guardians, I'm very excited to see Thor in a full length
really cool
movie with them.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Number 2, maybe an unpopular choice for you, Infinity War.
How come, buddy?
I've watched that movie 10 times, and I love it every single time. Can't get enough of it.
What's your favorite scene?
My favorite scene actually is when they're fighting Thanos on Titan, and in particular, my favorite one is him battling Doctor Strange. When he's going against Doctor Strange one-on-one, and they're both going back and forth, Thanos using the Infinity Stones, Strange using whatever crazy magic he does. I thought that was really cool.
Nice. It's fair enough. It's fair enough.
You need to rewatch it again.
I know, I really do. I've only seen that movie once. Oh, mega lol. Guardians 1 is my number 2. Basically the same reasons you said. I was actually listening to that soundtrack. I was going to bring it up on my phone on Spotify earlier today.
Okay.
There's the people have made playlists. I don't think it's official, but people have made playlists and just put all the songs on there for both Guardians 1 and Guardians 2. The Guardians 2 soundtrack's a banger too.
Although, it does have some bangers, you're right.
Although that movie's not as good, it's still a banger of soundtrack. But yeah, same reasons. I mean, Chris Pratt does a good job as Star-Lord, and it's like the same reason I like the Ragnarok, lighthearted comedy, easy to watch type movie.
Real quick, we don't have to go into it, but did you see there was an article, I think on BuzzFeed, that talked about actors that could have been cast in MCU, but because when you said Chris Pratt, I just thought of, did you ever watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
Not really.
Oh, well, the main guy, his name was Dennis. God, what's his real name? I forget, but he was the second choice for Charlotte. It's a cool article. I'll send it to you. We'll touch on it next week.
Okay.
Finally, our number one movie. I'm pretty sure we have the same exact one.
Si, senor.
It is the one that came out just a couple days ago. Avengers Endgame.
Yep.
Honestly, it was very tough for me because I think that there are times where Infinity War is better than Endgame in some aspects of it. I just think with Endgame and how everything panned out, how it ended, I thought there could not have been a more perfect way for those heroes to go out. I thought everything was just perfect.
Yeah, I had mentioned that same sentiment earlier. So
yeah.
Hard to go against that. I do need to watch Infinity War again, very clearly. So I'm going for round 2 of Endgame this weekend.
Too. Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Those I can't watch Captain Marvel on streaming yet, though. That's a problem.
All right, you have to wait till Disney Plus.
You're right.
Or for the $300 Infinity Saga 22
box set. Speaking of Ant-Man and the Wasp, that's where all this time travel bullshit came from, isn't it?
Basically, so
great. The one movie, like one of the two movies I don't see is the major plot point.
No, because they never discussed that possibility at. Oh well, actually, the thing like because in Ant-Man and the Wasp, they had to go in to rescue Hope Van Dyne, I think her name was, her mom, and she was in there for a long time, and so that's why in Endgame when Scott Lang comes out, he's been in the quantum realm for those 5 years, but for him it was like 5 minutes, and he realized then the time spent in the quantum realm is different than time spent out in reality, and so I think that it was mostly the end scene when you see he is trapped in the quantum realm, and so that end scene plus Captain Marvel's end scene where you see her come down to Earth when they're studying the pager and she asks where's Nick Fury. So Endgame makes a point to kind of gloss over that because they assume you've watched those things.
Yeah, which I haven't, so I'll make it lol. I mean, I'm going to watch Infinity War again, give Avengers Endgame another go. It's interesting. I've seen people tweeting about their second viewing. A lot of people saying they liked it better, but also a lot of people saying they didn't like it better. Like they liked their first viewing better. I don't know why. So I'm interested to see how I come out of watching it for a second time. I don't see how I can like it any less.
People have not said they haven't liked it less.
I've seen both people tweet say after their second viewing they liked it more, and also people saying that they did not like it. Like they liked their first viewing more than the second one. So I'm interested to see. I don't know how. I mean, you're not going to have the same blank mind going into it. Although you had already guessed 90% of the movie. So,
but still, I
don't see how I could not like it. Like I'm expecting probably to cry again. Let's be real. So
yeah, I just think the second way through, you have a better chance of like seeing things that maybe you didn't see before.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I think that's just better because when shit's like in that last battle with so much happening, with so many heroes on screen, you're just kind of looking right in the center, and I want to look what's here, you know? And
exactly the same.
I can't wait till it's on streaming service so I can watch it with fucking subtitles on.
Disney Plus, baby. Yeah, you're right. There you go.
But I will cash in for that $300 probably odd DVD Blu-ray box set. Fuck me, whatever.
Yep.
All right, Pop. I think that about does it. Got anything going on this week?
Nope. I've played 0 video games the last week and a half, so I got to get back into that. I did start the Assassin's Creed DLC, unrelated to shows, but I'm going to keep playing that. I think you're going to start that soonish, too.
I will eventually.
But otherwise, I got nothing else to play. So
I've been getting back into Fortnite a little bit.
Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna drag you back.
Okay.
It was fun.
I just saw on my computer it just updated, so.
Hey, perfect.
What about you?
That's about it, man. I think you had said you're seeing Endgame on Saturday again.
Yeah, it's Saturday morning.
I'm gonna try and see it sometime this week again, or the weekend.
You should probably buy tickets again, honestly. In San Francisco is like 2/3 sold out already.
You're probably right.
You really should.
Other than that, that's about it. Just like you, I'm just kind of figuring out what I'm playing. Just trying to ciphering through things, and it might just be another long summer again. E3's coming up.
E3's coming up.
Good for that.
That
E3
should be
sale.
interesting. We won't have live reactions together, but I'll text you.
You're the worst. All right, Pop. Well, that just about does it here. Ladies and germs, be sure to check us out. Teddy's over on Twitch, Ralph812, Twitter @the Teddy Cossack. Catch me on Twitter @coffeeblock_910, website coffeescorner.com. I am trying to work on an Endgame review. I just had to process all those feelings. And who knows? Maybe I'll just wait to see it again before I just sit down and start writing a 1,000-word odd, I don't know, novel. But
Good luck with that, buddy.
thanks, friend. But that just about does it here. Again, check us out on social media. I am Avery Fair. He is Teddy Cossack. Till next time. See you guys.
See ya.